Chose Dove India as our campaign, and this project is going to be presented by Brooke, Victoria, Marta, Anna Maria, and Jordan. My name is Victoria Aina. This project explores Dove's public relations efforts in India, focusing on how the brand adapted its global real beauty mission to resonate with Indian audiences. By emphasizing inclusivity, authenticity, and cultural awareness, Dove India demonstrates how international campaigns can successfully localize their message while maintaining consistent brand values. Dove's mission and vision center on a simple but powerful idea. Beauty should be a source of confidence, not anxiety. The brand's purpose goes beyond selling products. It's about empowering women to feel comfortable and confident in their own skin. Dove believes that when women and girls develop a positive relationship with how they look, they're more likely to reach their full potential and participate fully in life. This mission drives everything Dove does, from product design to marketing, ensuring that its communication always supports self-esteem, authenticity, and inclusivity. Dove's values reflect its deep commitment to representation, empowerment, and social impact. The brand wants women and girls of all ages to see beauty as confidence, not pressure. It recognizes that when women hold back because of appearance-based anxiety, society loses out on their talent, creativity, and leadership. That's why Dove is dedicated to helping the next generation build self-esteem through real, unfiltered portrayals of beauty, whether in advertisements, partnerships, or education programs. Ultimately, these values shape Dove's global identity as a brand that stands for real beauty, positive body image, and lasting social change. Dove first entered the Indian market in the early 2000s under Hindustan Unilever Limited, the Indian division of Unilever. At the time, Dove positioned itself as a premium personal care brand focusing on moisturizing and gentle formulas, which helped it stand out from other soaps and shampoos available in India. Over time, Dove built its reputation around the global Real Beauty platform, a movement centered on authenticity, confidence, and self-acceptance. This message resonated strongly in India, where beauty standards are often influenced by colorism, social pressures, and Bollywood ideals. Campaigns like Stop the Beauty Test directly challenge unrealistic beauty expectations that women face, especially around marriage and appearance. And the global Real Beauty Sketches campaign was adapted in India to further highlight how women often underestimate their own beauty. By reflecting local culture and storytelling, Dove successfully connected with Indian women while staying true to its global message of inclusivity. Most recently, in 2024, Dove launched Real Beauty Redefined for the AI era. Instead of using AI to alter images, Dove used the technology conversation itself to promote ethical representation, pledging to never use AI to distort women's appearances. This campaign not only reinforced Dove's long-standing advocacy for real beauty, but also positioned the brand as the leader in ethical, inclusive branding in India's rapidly expanding digital market. Here's Dove's vow to real beauty from the campaign. 1 in 3 women feel pressure to alter their appearance because of what they see online. Even when they know the images are fake or AI generated, the rise of AI poses one of the greatest threats to real beauty in the last 20 years, meaning representation is more important than ever. That's why Dove is renewing its vow to champion real beauty, with a commitment to never using AI to create or distort women's images. To start with strengths, Dove's strong global and local brand equity is rooted in authenticity and empowerment. The brand's history of impactful, socially responsible campaigns reinforces trust. Backed by Unilever, Dove benefits from extensive marketing resources and distribution power. Now for the weaknesses. Dove's premium image can make it less accessible to some consumers in India. Maintaining consistent messaging between global and local markets remains a challenge, especially across diverse audiences. To start off with the opportunities, with growing awareness of AI ethics and digital well-being, Dove has a chance to lead in responsible technological use. India's fast-growing digital landscape allows for deeper engagement with socially conscious consumers seeking authentic brands. Now for the threats. More beauty brands are adopting AI-driven ads, risking consumer skepticism and ethics washing. Rapid technological shifts and cultural sensitivities also pose challenges. A single misstep in representation could lead to backlash.
To better understand why Dove chose India to run this ad in, we should talk about their political system, corruption index, the economy, media systems, technological development, and Hofstede's cultural dimensions. To begin with India's political system, they're a multi-party federal parliamentary democracy with a bicameral legislature. That means that their legislature has 2 houses like the United States, and they have a prime minister and a president. Its government is based on the United Kingdom, as they were a colony of them for almost a century. And the Freedom House Democracy Index rates it a 63 out of 100 for its freedom scale because of the current prime minister and the leading party using their power to target political opponents. Transparency.org ranks India as country 96 out of 180 classified with a corruption perception index of 38. This is because a lot of South Asian governments have been unable to curb corruption amidst the climate crisis. For example, India accepted $250 million worth of bribes in 2024 from a United States clean energy business to win solar contracts in the country. That being said, India's economic environment has lately been very good, with an average growth rate of over 6% for the last 30 years. This has lifted millions of people out of poverty and has increased the median household income. India wants to develop into a high income economy by 2047, but it still faces challenges like a low number of women in the workforce, an informal economy, and other issues. Also, the UN World Economic Situation and Prospects highlights India as the fastest growing major economy in the world. With regard to India's media and technology, the Reporters Without Borders says that India has very low press freedom, and that's because a lot of its media is privatized with one public media. So there's a monopoly on the media that people are receiving. Reporters Without Borders rates India's country 151 out of 180 countries in 2025, but last year was at 159, so there is some improvement. The Reporters Without Borders credits this low ranking to the prime minister and the corruption that we were talking about prior, for example, with regard to the caste system and discrimination. But with regard to technological development, 76.6% of Indian people have mobile connection and 55.3% use the internet. So they have a high level of connectivity for a country that does have such a large rural population. Lastly, we're going to talk about Hofstede's cultural dimensions with regard to India, and we're going to mainly focus on the 6 on the screen: individualism, long-term orientation, power distance, uncertainty avoidance, motivation towards achievement and success, which was formerly masculinity, and indulgence. I will note that with regard to the individualism and long-term orientation scales, I'm using the numbers from the week 5 lecture rather than Hofstede's website, as the updated numbers don't reflect what we discussed in the lecture. To begin with individualism, India has a medium score, meaning it has a blend of individualistic and collectivistic traits, putting equal emphasis on group wellness, family wellness, and self-interest. With power distance, a high score of 77 means that India puts a lot of emphasis on hierarchy, for example, within the caste system that is still in use today and causes discrimination today. With long-term orientation, India scores, again, medium, just like they did in individualism. With the blend of traits, that means that people are both forward and backward thinking, so there's an equality there. And the final 3 of Hofstede's dimensions that we'll discuss today are uncertainty avoidance, indulgence, and motivation towards achievement and success. So India scores medium-low on uncertainty avoidance, meaning that there's some acceptance of uncertainty and imperfection, and people are willing to go into established roles, for example, within the caste system, but they're also willing to adjust as needed. With indulgence, India scores very low, meaning that people put little focus on leisure time and pleasure, and this is due to social norms within families. And the last one today, motivation towards achievement and success, formerly masculinity versus femininity. India scores a 56 and is appreciative of a visual display of success and power, for example, using brand names like Dove, which could explain why the company ran its ad in this country.
The primary public, our key target audience, is Indian women between the ages of 13 and 35. The generation most active on social media platforms like Instagram, YouTube, Pinterest, and Twitter. These are digital consumers who constantly see filtered images and unrealistic beauty standards online. As a result, many experience pressure around appearance, self-confidence, and body image. This campaign aimed to reach them directly by encouraging authenticity and challenging the algorithms that often reinforce those narrow ideals of beauty. A secondary audience and public includes parents and teachers, who serve as role models and can positively influence how young women view themselves. They also have the power to guide social media habits and help build confidence offline. Another key secondary group was celebrities and influencers, who often set beauty standards and trends. These figures usually have mass audiences and followings full of women aged 13 to 35. They can spread the message to them that authenticity and real beauty are more valuable than filtered perfection. Finally, media, advertising, and PR professionals are considered important stakeholders since they shape how beauty is portrayed in society. By influencing this group, Dove reinforced its larger goal of encouraging responsible and inclusive representation in the Indian market. To reach its audiences effectively, Dove used a mix of digital innovation and culturally relevant storytelling. First, Dove teamed up with Pinterest to encourage users to reshape the platform's algorithm by saving and promoting diverse, authentic images of women. This allowed Dove to directly involve its target audience, young Indian women who are active on social media, in making the change themselves. Through hashtags and online interaction, Dove made authenticity a trend, inspiring users to share unfiltered, real representations of beauty. The brand also took its message offline by using a multi-channel rollout in OOH advertising tactics. This approach increased the visibility of Dove's commitment, making it hard to ignore. Dove then collaborated with influencers with mass followings who already advocate for authenticity, such as Reba, ensuring the campaign's message reached young audiences through voices they trust.
The central theme of this campaign is ethical and authentic representation in the AI age. The tagline, "Real Beauty Redefined for the AI Era," captures Dove's vision perfectly. The key message here is that technology should serve humanity, not reshape it. Dove wanted to remind audiences that real beauty comes from truth and diversity, not digital perfection. Their supporting messages reinforced that commitment to inclusivity, responsibility, and authenticity in every piece of content. The campaign had three main goals. First, to raise awareness about ethical AI use in media and advertising. Second, to encourage platforms like Pinterest to uplift real beauty in their algorithms. And third, to reinforce Dove's longstanding identity as a champion of authenticity. Strategically, Dove partnered with digital platforms to reshape how AI recommends beauty content. The campaign also used cultural storytelling to make the message locally relevant in India. As for tactics, Dove combined digital storytelling, influencer engagement, and out-of-home advertising in major cities. Together, these approaches created a movement that both celebrated and protected real beauty. It unfolded throughout 2024. Planning and partnerships took place early in the year, followed by a major digital and OOH launch mid-year. By the third and fourth quarters, Dove focused on amplification, keeping the momentum going through earned media and influencer engagement. While the exact budget wasn't disclosed, this was clearly a flagship campaign under Unilever's broader brand ethics initiative, a high investment effort to lead by example in responsible AI use. Audiences across India, Dove used a mix of digital and traditional media. Online, the campaign centered around Pinterest, YouTube, Instagram, and X, formerly known as Twitter, channels where conversations around beauty thrive. Offline, Dove made a big impact through out-of-home advertising, billboards and city visuals that carried the powerful AI pledge. The campaign also leveraged earned media with coverage in global and regional press, and owned media, including Dove's social channels and website. Altogether, this multi-channel strategy made the message impossible to ignore. And finally, the impact speaks for itself. Dove's Real Beauty Redefined for the AI Era campaign generated over 4 billion impressions and 500 million video views. Beyond the numbers, it sparked a vital conversation about AI ethics, authenticity, and representation in the digital age. By refusing to let AI redefine beauty, Dove redefined what leadership looks like in modern brand communication.
Hello. So the web pages analysis of Dove's official website, they promised to never use AI to change women's images, and their partnership with Pinterest let users reshape their own feeds to show more authentic beauty. It was also clean and a modern site. It was very easy to navigate. All press releases, everything, which we'll get into, was easy to download and emotionally engaging, and videos and testimonies made the campaign feel personal and trustworthy, and just gave like real world examples and easy to visualize. So the electronic and interactive media kit analysis, the media kit included press releases, a fact sheet, executive profiles of the people on the campaign. So it introduced Dove India official leaders along with Pinterest executives involved in the project. It also included photos and videos, including unretouched portraits, event photography, and short case study clips showing the campaign in action. So overall, the media kit was a strong example of accessible and transparent communication, and everything was easy to download and formatted for journalists and influencers, which made it ready for immediate media use. It also reflected Dove's brand tone, honest, simple, and inclusive. And as far as improvements, one thing Dove could do is create one shared online hub that houses all regional versions of the media. This would streamline access for international audiences and just make the campaign material even more cohesive and inclusive and accessible. So moving on to social media analysis. So Dove's use of social media, which was one of the strongest elements of this campaign, especially because they partnered with Pinterest, a social media platform. Dove used hashtags like hashtag Keep Beauty Real, hashtag Real Beauty DNA, both of which trended and gained major attention on Instagram. And it really helped drive organic engagement and public conversation, and kept all media connected through the hashtag and easy to access again. So everything in this campaign seemed to be very accessible. And on YouTube, Dove shared behind the scenes videos and a panel discussions about AI and beauty, which encouraged audiences to think critically and about digital image manipulation. And meanwhile, on Pinterest, they created an interactive Real Beauty DNA, which was one of the bigger parts of this campaign. And that experience let people train the algorithm themselves to show real life unfiltered beauty, which was very cool. And the results were impressive. The campaign earned over 4 billion impressions and 500 million views across platforms. These numbers clearly demonstrate that people want to see authentic representation online and that Dove successfully connected with that desire. So now event and print analysis. This is more traditional and experimental efforts made by Dove, also extended into this campaign through events and printed materials. So across major Indian cities, billboards and posters displayed the quote, "If AI defines beauty, who gets left out?" And this was a very powerful statement that made past buyers stop and think about inclusivity in beauty representation. They also distributed brochures and flyers that explained how to try the Real Beauty DNA tool using QR codes and linked it directly to the campaign website, which was, again, making it super accessible. And at the same time, Dove hosted live Train Your Feed events where visitors could build their own beauty DNA and take portraits without AI filters, experiencing the brand's message firsthand. So to reinforce the campaign visually, Dove gave away stickers and tote bags that said "People over Pixels," and these giveaways kept the message front of mind and encouraged organic sharing. So overall, by combining digital tools with face-to-face experiences, Dove ensured that the campaign stayed authentic and personal, and it bridged the gap between online and real-world connection. So, in conclusion, Dove's Real Beauty Redefined for AI era campaign took a bold stand against the unrealistic AI-generated beauty standards. By partnering with Pinterest, this really made Dove work to promote authentic representation online, and it reinforced the brand's longstanding purpose that the real beauty should never be distorted by technology or society. Through honest messaging, inclusive visuals, and community engagement and accessibility, Dove proved that purpose-driven branding still has a powerful impact. For this case, there are a few important key takeaways from lessons learned. So the first is the purpose builds trust. So customers connected more strongly with brands that act on their values, not just talk about them, which is extremely important, especially in this day and age where there's a lot of talk and no action. And then second, innovation can still be ethical. So Dove demonstrated that AI and social media can be used responsibly to inspire positive change, which is also important in a day like now where AI is really present and people kind of see it as more of a negative thing rather than something that can be positive. And then the third and consistent is that consistency matters. And every campaign touchpoint told the same story of authenticity and empowerment. It was extremely consistent, extremely accessible, and it really proved the power of authenticity. And finally, the partnerships amplify impact. So by collaborating with Pinterest, Dove was able to reach new audiences and reshape digital culture in a meaningful way, which would not have been as prominent if it did not partner with Pinterest. And next conclusion to wrap up, we developed a few recommendations for Dove moving forward. So first of all, they should continue expanding localized versions of the campaign across new regions and languages. This will help Dove reach broader audiences while adapting the message to different cultural contexts. And then second, Dove can use its global platform to educate audiences on AI transparency and digital literacy, ensuring people understand how algorithms influence what they see online. Third, the brand should track long-term shifts in social algorithms and beauty perceptions to measure real-world impact and see if their campaigns truly changes online behaviors. And then finally, Dove should keep highlighting real stories and authentic creators to make sure the campaign message stays grounded in truth. And By following these recommendations, Dove can continue to lead conversations about authenticity, ethics, and representation in the digital beauty space. Thank you.